Hi guys, how's it going? Paul back with part two of the training for you, as promised. But in fact, when I looked at it last night, I decided probably should make it a three-part training. So today's going to be about 10 minutes, which is easily manageable. And then tomorrow will be about 15, I think. 15, maybe 20, I'm not sure. I can't help it. Once I start delivering, I just connect and just keep going. I lose all track of time. It's a nightmare for me, especially if I'm on a multi-speaker event where there's a speaker after me. I've got to be so careful. Anyway, it is what it is, as we say. So listen, I hope yesterday was useful. That it stimulated some thinking. And remember, I'm not dissing strategy. Strategy is essential. It really is. I wouldn't have done half of what I've done if not for following strategies. So, but I wanted to make the point that for me, it's the finishing point, whereas for most people, it's the starting point. And there's so much more stuff you can do to maximize your chances of finding the best, most effective, and most efficient strategy for you where you are in relation to where you want to get to. That's all the message was for yesterday. So today we're going to build on that. We're going to go down into the model. We're going to talk about your story, the second S in the model, the story that you tell yourself over and over and over again. And of course, as you'll discover now when we go to the training, that story becomes your blueprint, becomes your identity, and it becomes your existence. I think yesterday I said, well, maybe I didn't, but I'll say it now anyway, because it's a really good thing to remember. The words you use become the home you live in or the house you live in. It's of course not referring to the bricks and mortar, it's referring to where you live. So anyway, without any more chat, otherwise this is going to be another 45 minutes. Let's hand over to the training. Enjoy. And as always, guys, please let me know if it's hitting the mark. Is it too basic for you? Is it too deep for you? Is it about right? So tell me, I'm here. I'm here to serve you in whatever way works for you. So it's not, this group isn't for me, it's for you. So let me know. All right, enjoy the training, and I shall see you in about 5 seconds. See you now. Bye. Please don't get me wrong on the strategy part of it. The strategy is important, but you have to choose the correct strategy, and you won't do that while you're still feeling down and depressed or overburdened or, excuse my French, but bitterly pissed off with what's going on in the job at the moment. We have to first take that burden off, get yourself to stand up strong and tall again, be who you really are on the inside, and then come from that direction. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So all I'm asking is just pause, just hold on your decision about the next step, because the next step might not be the obvious one. Let me put it this way. There are, I think in 2023, it was published, there were 9,100 and something police leavers, right? Most of those resignations. It's heartbreaking. So let's assume that's divided by 12 months and it's the same number every month. So 9,000 divided by 10, okay, so around about, I should have done this beforehand, shouldn't I? So I could look half intelligent. It's about 700 and something, 740-ish, 50, something in this region. So let's assume you've got 750 cops every month leaving the job. That means that this month we've got 750 new ones. Last month, there may still be some who didn't get a job yet, and the month before that. So the numbers are increasing every month of people out there looking, who's going to give me a job, right? So if strategy is correct, and if strategy is the way it works, let's do your CV, let's do your LinkedIn profile, let's get your job applications going, let's do your covering letter and make it all sound beautiful, and all 750 cops do the same thing, then the playing field has just been leveled again, so no one's going to stand out. So what's left after that? Now you have to say, well, what's different about me? Maybe your transferable skills are at a higher level than somebody else's. So we could get some variation there where you may well stand out and emerge as the best option for an employer. But do they really know and understand what the transferable skills are and how to measure them and how to pitch you against somebody else. I'm not sure that they do. So maybe there's a deeper level we can then go to, which will give you the advantage. And this is where my work comes in, because it worked for me. Guys, I was a relatively shy, introverted, scared, broke ex-cop when I left the police force. Okay, I'm still an introvert. I prefer to be on my own in isolation, but I'm not shy anymore. And I found a voice and a message as well. And if I can inject some of that into you so that you can emerge as well as someone who has more confidence and clarity with a clear vision and even half a plan, then that's going to be a win-win-win. And that will help you to rise above the other 749 or whatever it's going to be. So let's have a look. Let's go deeper into the second one, the story. Story means the story that you are telling yourself, one, about the situation you're in, and two, about what you believe is the limitation and your limited belief about what could be. And what I'm hearing, what you're going to see on the slide now are just the comments I've heard from the people I've talked to toward the end of last week. Okay? In this economy, we can't get another job in this economy. The second one really, really upsets me, guys. I'm just a cop. I'm just a cop. What do I know? Or something along those lines. 3 of you said that to me last week. And part of my job is to interrupt you and scratch the pattern to break the programming in your brain. But when I heard that, I was actually quite animated in jumping in and going, are you kidding me? No one is just anything, especially police officers. Sorry, gotta hold back. Zen, okay. Even if someone says to me, I'm just a cleaner or I'm just a taxi, no human being is just anything. Honestly, I can't sit by and let people just all over themselves, because it's only the consequence of being knocked down or bullied or undermined and overruled in an institutionalized organization. And unfortunately, it leaves a mark, but it's changeable. It's changeable in a heartbeat once you're aware of the words that you're using. So please, if that was you last week, just a cop, I hope I didn't go too strongly, and I hope that you stopped. So let's do that. There are no jobs out there. There are no jobs in this economy. There are no jobs for people like me. There are no jobs, and so it goes on. Actually, I can tell you in COVID alone, in those 2 years of the pandemic, there were more new millionaires than there were in the 5 years beforehand. Because that's what happens when a human being gets cornered. Our resourcefulness kicks in, and we start to make change a must instead of a nice to do. And once we're in that position, it's exactly what happened to me. I was completely trapped in a mess, in pain, in agony, couldn't walk, scared to death on my own because my family stepped back and abandoned me, even though I was a grown-up, not a little boy. And change became an absolute must. And from there, whoosh, all of these things came out I didn't even know was possible. And so the same can happen for you as well. There are jobs out there. And if there's no jobs that's good enough or worthy of you, then that's why I say, what is it you can do that you can monetize and start your own business? That's why I say it, because this thing. This is a cracker, this one. I'm too old. And you just have to look at stories with, what's his name? The Kentucky Fried Chicken guy, Colonel Saunders. He's a real guy, that guy. He was 67 when he was broke, living in the back of his car, trying to sell his mother's chicken recipe and being told, no. And then eventually, just through perseverance alone, he broke through and became the global name that he is now. And he's obviously a multi-millionaire now. He was still alive, I think he is. But no one's ever too old to find that fire in your belly that's going to become something that has an impact on the world. And that's just fried chicken. Imagine what you can do with your skills and abilities. Okay, so I've got to be careful. I just get a little bit over passionate here. No qualifications. This is really common in the police service. I can guarantee every one of you watching this now has more qualifications than me. True. I left school at 15 with nada. Nothing. I got bullied at school. I got bullied at home for being bullied at school. I was terrified, and I was so shy and quiet. I couldn't raise my hand and ask a question. So it was a nightmare. I left. I learned more since leaving the police force than I did in the first half of my life. And you can do the same. Qualifications are just a piece of paper, basically. Now, if there's a specific role that you really want because it really fires you to go and do that role, then brilliant, go and get that qualification. But probably most of you have got CSEs, GCSEs, that's how old I am, whatever the modern equivalents are, and I can guarantee the majority of you are going to have some kind of a qualification from either college or university. Way more than I had. And yet, even with nothing, I was still able to go from the mess that I was in to a six-figure revenue building business, totally on my own, totally alone with no one else, from scratch, with no qualifications or experience when I started out. And I'm not saying that, I hope you can tell, I'm not like, hey, look at me, so that's just not who I am. But to illustrate that if I can do that with nothing, if the qualifications that you have, let alone the experiences in the police force, because of the extra years that you've got. I was 12 years and the last 4 was on light duties at headquarters. So you've got more experience than me, you've got more qualifications than me. And at the moment, you've got a more stable platform than I had. So there is no reason why you can't do at least as much as me, if not even more. God, I'd love to see that. I'd be so excited to see that. So please keep an open mind. I can't, well, that's more BS. I can't is usually underpinned by a fear that if I do, I might fail. Okay. I had a fear of failure when I first started, but then after some time, I realized my fear had become a fear of success as well. So like double whammy, cornered myself. But you can, as long as you accept it's going to be scary, you're going to fail, you're going to fall, you're going to embarrass yourself occasionally, just like me, but eventually you'll break through and you'll get there. And this one, it's impossible. One person said this to me last week, and I couldn't help but jump in on it. So I even made a slide specifically for this word. It's the same word. Look what happens with the same word, same letters, and the same sequence, but from another perspective. You get it? Impossible. I'm possible. You're possible. We're all possible once we learn to understand what's going on in here. So all of these are the stories that we repeatedly tell ourselves in the conscious mind, which then seep down into the unconscious mind and become the program. And it's the program that governs everything going on in your life. Every result you have right now comes from the program of the unconscious mind.